All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, I am going to talk about the best fight in boxing that we are going to have for the rest of the year. I am fairly confident, and that is the fight between Brian Norman Jr. and Devin the Dream Haney for Brian Norman Jr.'s 147-pound WBO championship. We have some comments and some very interesting insights from Tim Bradley and Greg Hackett. And in short, man, y'all better get y'all popcorn ready, man, because don't nobody really know how this fight is going to go. And I think a lot of people are weighing this based on who they want to win. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about two of the best boxing minds on YouTube. And they are both former professional fighters. One is a professional trainer right now. The other one is a YouTuber, from what I know, and a former ESPN analyst, Hall of Famer Tim Bradley, and my guy Greg Hackett out of Philadelphia. Man, they didn't talk with each other, but man, I was listening to their videos trying to figure out who I think is going to win with this Brian Norman Jr. Devin Haney fight. And I got to tell you, man, I don't think anybody actually knows. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks of videos like this. Like I'm trying to remember to say every video to encourage people to support the channel. $1 in the super thanks is worth 100 views. $10 is worth 1,000 views. So thank you to everybody that kind of hits the juice on the views for the channel, because it really does help us continue to move and go and survive and prosper and all of that good old stuff. Hate to say these type of things in the videos, but hey, man, that's how the world works. But let's get into this, because I listened to Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley is a smart guy. Very, very, very smart guy. Has a lot of different things going on in his head at the same time. That's why you see him vacillating back and forth over who he thinks is going to win this fight with Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. But in his analysis, I found some very, very interesting information. He basically said that in order to win the fight, Brian Norman Jr. is going to have to do certain things to Devin Haney. Specifically, he mentioned he's going to have to force Devin Haney to move to his right consistently. He said that if you look when Devin Haney has success, it is moving to his left because he controls the fight with his jab. And if he's moving to his left, then he's able to get off his jab more consistently. He does switch it up, though. Every once in a while, will go right, feint you, throw an uppercut, keep you honest. But then eventually over time, he starts heading back left again, right? So Devin Haney has to be Brian Norman Jr. has to be very, very conscious about forcing Devin Haney to his left. He also said that he has to make sure that Devin Haney continues to pick up his feet, because when you pick up your feet, your jab is obsolete. I was laughing when Tim Bradley said it, because he said obsolete instead of obsolete, but that's all right, man. He's a smart guy. So anyway, he says, man, pick up your feet, make him pick up his feet so his jab's obsolete. So Brian Norman Jr. is going to have to continually put pressure on him, try to take away his jab by forcing him to go left, to go to his right or to Brian Norman Jr.'s left, and continually force him over that way, and then make Devin Haney get engaged and get into fights, because I don't think he's going to like that. Or that's what Tim Bradley, that was Tim Bradley's take. Now, the take on Greg Hackett, from Greg Hackett, and trust me, I'm going to look at both of these right after I give a brief breakdown of what Greg's point of view was. Greg basically is saying that he believes that Devin Haney is going to win the fight because he doesn't believe that Brian Norman Jr. necessarily has the experience. That Brian Norman Jr. necessarily has the experience to catch Devin Haney and to be able to beat Devin Haney, right? Now, Brian Norman, I've already done a video on him. He broke it down on my channel, so I won't go down into too much more of that, other than just to say that, man, when you look at these, listening to professional boxers make these calls, man, that's why it's so hard for me to ever put money on a boxing match, because both guys make excellent points. But in the case of Brian Norman, in the case of Tim Bradley, I think Tim Bradley is leaning towards Brian Norman Jr. and wanting Brian Norman Jr. to win the fight, because Brian Norman Jr. is with Top Rank. And he just re-signed for Top Rank in a long-term deal. Tim Bradley is notorious for showing favoritism to Top Rank fighters, whether it is Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford, it doesn't matter. When Top Rank guys are talking about other Top Rank guys on television, those guys basically they ride with their crew. It's been shown year after year after year. If you don't believe it, listen to anything that Tim Bradley has to say about the PBC. I'm telling you, you're gonna see you're going to smell some funk coming up off that man whenever he starts talking about it, because that's just how they're built. There's been a rivalry between the PBC fighters and the top ranked fighters. And when they get into the booths and start giving predictions, I'm sorry, it's still salted with that. And you just know, generally speaking in boxing, that a lot of times when boxers are making predictions, they're not really talking about who they actually think are going to win the fight, but who they want to win the fight. Now, Greg is my guy, my man, 100 grand. There's also a big beef going on between basically the city of Philadelphia, who backed Jaron Ennis. I'm not saying Greg Hackett is all up on Jaron like that, but he knows Jaron. He's held mitts with Jaron, trained in the gym with Jaron, known Jaron, has seen Jaron since he's a little kid. Brian Norman Sr. is talking so bad about Jaron Ennis right at this point in time. It's hard for me to believe that anybody in Philadelphia that really rocks with Jaron Ennis is going to be inclined to give Brian Norman Jr. a real fair shake on that. So as I listen to these guys and their expert breakdowns, as to who they think is going to win the fight, I also pay attention to their political allegiances and try to see, well, man, how much do I think this is kind of leaking in here? Now, I'm not saying that Tim Bradley, if there's a guy from the Top Rank that is fighting somebody, they ain't got a chance to win. I'm not saying he's just going to make up some story and say, oh yeah, my guy's going to win. Or if Greg Hackett got an issue with somebody, that he's going to be blinded and biased by any particular issue he may have with a particular fight camp, right? Because take, for example, Greg Hackett actually fought Brian Norman Sr. in a boxing match. I do believe it was last year, right? So I'm just saying that you got to kind of listen to it, but at the end, listen to it and kind of, take everything you hear with a grain of salt. But one thing is for sure, I think we got a great fight here. I really, really, really do. I am not the biggest fan of Bill Haney, but Devin Haney has done a lot in his career, man. That kid has grinded it out, ups and downs and everything. So if he's able to win, it's going to be a terrific success story for him and his camp. Brian Norman is able to win. It's going to be a terrific thing for him and the city of Atlanta. I think it's going to be it's good for American boxing anyway it's cut, man. So I'm looking forward to it. I do think that this is going to be the best fight of the year, of the remainder of the year. It's the fight that I'm looking forward to the most for the remainder of the year, and the one where I honestly and truly, I don't know who's going to win. So it really does make it a good fight. Anyway, that's my take. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.